How do you feel like you guys are handling it, and how do you look at this stretch?
Yeah, I think it's important to be able to rely on everybody. Obviously we don't want to start with injuries. We want to start the campaign well, and we feel like we have a deep enough squad to be able to rotate and still compete in games. And so falling back on all the guys that have worked so hard in the preseason and just get thrown into fixture congestion, and it's not easy just to jump right into it. And so credit to the guys to buy into rotating at times, and I know it can be frustrating, but we need to stay healthy because we feel that we have the team to be able to compete for trophies this year.
I don't know when the last time you watched an entire match from the bench like you did in this one. How was that for you? And I don't know, was it a welcome change or was it tough?
Oh, it was strange feeling. Obviously, I'm a competitor. I want to be on the field. I want to be getting to tackles and starting attacks and keeping the team organized. So it's strange, but yeah, I was getting a little antsy on the bench. Yelling at Paul with positioning and almost wanting to be with the coaches in a way to be able to impact the game. But in all fairness, I've played a lot of minutes of these my entire career, so getting a game off, I'm sure does wonders for my body and hopefully the long run.
Cristian, from a synergy perspective, how important is it that you guys can rotate and yet what you're trying to do out there doesn't change?
Yeah, I think the personnel brings a little complexity to the way we want to play. For example, Georgie, we're playing him in the 10 position, but we're probably going to throw him wide because of how dynamic he is in 1v1 situations. Jesus might be a more inside player in that same position, starting position, but starting inside. So it's nice to be able to kind of mix match, but also be able to have the same system in place. And so.
I'm sorry,
Go ahead.
just jumping to ask this question about when you're sitting there in the two pivots in your hex, or just generalizing hex, just what's the advantage of having so many players on the right and also people cutting on the inside now?
I think we overload just naturally on the right side. It just with how right-footed our team is, we end up having overloads more so on the right side than the left side. But I do think that when we get into attack, can we still add another midfielder into the attack, right? Can Danny Leyva get into the attack and commit another guy forward to be able to score more goals? And to be fair, we've scored quite a bit of goals already, and we could use a clean sheet. So hopefully we can do that at Salt Lake.
With that in mind, how important is it for you just to have positional integrity when those things happen?
Yeah, with adding an additional guy, you have to be even more sound defensively. In transition, the 3-1 shape can look like a 2-2 at times. And so my job, Zhao's job, the whole back line's job is to avoid transitional play, slow down their attacks, as well as be smart. Even with fouls, I think we can be savvier in those moments.
How much fun are you guys having mixing the teams and the style of play? MLS obviously holds a very unique way of playing, and then you're playing the South American teams. How much does that also prepare you throughout the season?
Yeah, it prepares you, especially for Leagues Cup, other tournaments like Champions League or Champions Cup. Going to Spain, playing these European teams prepares you for Club World Cup. These are experiences that you don't get in MLS. So being able to take those experiences and be able to do well in these tournaments is really important for us. We've done it before, and we need to gather that experience and bring it back with us to be able to compete in Champions Cup.
And then you're one of your parents is from Guatemala. How fun was that to have to see those people come up, and you saw it was really well attended as well. How important is it for the Sounders to not only welcome other fans, but also for the exposure that you guys and your family gets to that community?
Yeah, we were very lucky to be able to go to Guatemala, have our family go out to games, feel the energy that Guatemala brings, especially for myself and Alex. You know, being having my dad from Guatemala, it's a real treat to be able to go down there and be able to compete like this. I mean, we see different atmospheres, and sometimes those atmospheres are quite awesome to play in. But you know, we have other guys like Obed. We're going to go to Mexico City. It's going to be real nice for him to see family, probably that he hasn't seen in a while, and be able to compete in front of them, which probably they haven't experienced. So it's a real treat.
You got 8 goals, you know, these first 3 games. What is your kind of assessment of that, being able to see those in actual games?
Yeah, I think that it's a credit to our coaching staff, the players that have bought in, to committing to playing a little bit more offensive and risky, working on the little bits and pieces that we have been, but we haven't put a full game together, and that's hopefully what we can bring to Salt Lake and also Cruz Azul. Those are going to be crucial, especially at home. Away goals are very important in Champions Cup. So how can we put together a full performance and be happy about all the little things that we've been working on?
And in terms of watching, you were obviously being able to see JP and Danny play together. Is it good that you guys are able, it seems so far, to have duos that you can kind of put in together that do well together?
Yeah, I think in the midfield especially, you start creating some chemistry with the guy alongside you. We saw that with Obed and myself at the end of last year, being together for so many games, and we've seen it in training with Jao and Danny. You know, they connect really well. They make it difficult on myself and Obed. And at times it's almost Obed and myself versus Jao and Danny in training. And so to be able to form those kind of partnerships is really important, because when the time comes and we're going to need those guys, you know, they're clicking on all cylinders.
There are several players on the roster that have local ties to Seattle, whether that be through the Sounders development system, growing up in the area, or like yourself going to college here. What does it mean to be a part of an international tournament like the CONCACAF Champions Cup or, you know, the Club World Cup, with the local talent on the roster making an impact in a big way?
Yeah, I think we want to show that not only Seattle, but the United States can compete at this level, right? And so we have a lot of guys that have come through the system, have grown as players through the Sounders organization, and to be able to compete at an international level for us is really important. We want to put Sounders on the map. We want to be one of the top clubs in MLS, in the region, in the world, and to be able to do that, we need to be able to create these homegrown players and compete and show that we can compete at an international level.
And then even